On the news tonight, Governor Sheriff Oborewori urges Isoko Nation to reciprocate government's development efforts in the area. Federal government continues evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa ahead of planned anti-immigrant protests. Senate to transmit state police bill to state houses of assembly for consideration. Abroad, United States moves to impose fresh immigration restrictions on Somalia and other African countries over security concerns. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Delta Television News tonight. My name is Onome Iyaroe. You can also follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Now, details of the news. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has called on the people of Isoko Nation to reciprocate his administration's development efforts in the area by voting en masse for all candidates of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the 2027 general elections. Governor Oborewori made the appeal while inspecting ongoing and completed projects at the College of Health Technology, Ovrodi, and the Ozoro Modern Market in Isoko North local government area. Ejime Udweme reports.
The governor said his administration had made significant investments in infrastructure, education, and healthcare across Isoko land and other parts of the state, adding that the people should support the APC at the polls in appreciation of the projects.
So we have done our best. What the Isoko people owe us is, when it comes to 2027, is to deliver all our candidates. That is the request. So it's not to be shouting, Ukodo, Ukodo, Ukodo. No, let this Ukodo you are shouting, let you have to replicate it in 2027. That is just it. So we are working. We'll continue to work.
The governor explained that he must inspect projects before they are inaugurated to ensure they meet the required standards. He described the College of Health Technology of Rodi as a special project, noting that his administration approved the construction of an access road alongside the institution to enhance its functionality.
You know, this school is special to me because when we approved it, we also said that this project, the only way we can commission this project, we need to do a road. You can see that the road has been, we have constructed the road, and the day we commission it, we also commission the road.
Speaking on the Ozoro Modern Market, Governor Oborewori expressed satisfaction with the quality of work and disclosed that the facility was ready for inauguration. Earlier, the contractor handling the Ozoro Modern Market, Chief Idu Amadi, said the market had been completed since last year and had been awaiting commissioning by the state government. He disclosed that the facility consists of 192 open shops, 28 lock-up shops, 8 warehouses, 16 modern toilets, water facilities, 4 fire points, meeting halls for market leaders, offices for market administration and labor unions, as well as 2 security posts. Chief Amadi lamented repeated acts of vandalism at the market, disclosing that the contractor has spent about 3.2 million naira to repair damaged facilities after the complex was attacked on 3 different occasions. He appealed for adequate security around the market to safeguard the investment and ensure the facility serves traders and residents effectively after its inauguration. Ejime Udwime reporting.
Meanwhile, Governor Sheriff Oborewori has expressed dissatisfaction over the slow pace of work at the Technical College Iri in Isoko South local government area, describing the prolonged delay in completing the project as unacceptable. During an unscheduled inspection visit to the site, Governor Oborewori expressed concern that the contract awarded in 2019 remained unfinished years after its commencement. Ejime Udweme reports.
The governor was received at the site by the chairman of Isoko South Local Government Council, Honorable Wari Uvoke Friday, the Odiologbo of Iri Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Simon Wajutome Odoma Igbogidi I, and the former President General of the Isoko Development Union, IDU, High Chief Idu Amadi. Speaking with journalists after inspecting the project, Governor Borewori said the contractor had failed to demonstrate the competence and commitment required to deliver the project within the stipulated time frame. He noted that he was not convinced by assurances that the project will be completed by August, observing that several critical aspects of the work had yet to commence. The governor disclosed that he would summon both the contractor and the project consultant to explain the reasons behind the prolonged delay. He also attributed the situation to poor supervision, expressing disappointment that the institution would no longer be ready to admit students by September as earlier anticipated.
A contract had been awarded 2019. It's a shame that 7 years still not completed. What is holding the contractor? So you see now, if there are people who are very serious, you will see people on site. And that's why I did not even notify them that I'm coming. So I'm not satisfied with the work.
Governor Borewori reaffirmed his administration's commitment to ensuring that contractors handling government projects deliver quality jobs within approved timelines. He stressed that abandoned or unnecessarily delayed projects would no longer be tolerated, warning that appropriate measures will be taken against defaulting contractors.
What I've seen here, I'm not sure, because the workshop they've not started the workshop. Then the landscaping too will take some time, and some of the roof, if you look at some of the roof, has not been completed.
Governor Borewori reiterated that his administration remains committed to providing quality educational infrastructure across the state as part of the MORE agenda, aimed at expanding access to technical and vocational education for the benefit of Delta youths. Ejime Uduime reporting.
The federal government has continued to evacuate Nigerians from South Africa ahead of planned anti-immigrant protests expected to begin tomorrow, June 30. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Kemiebi Ebiemfa, said an Air Peace aircraft which departed Nigeria today would return to Lagos tomorrow with another batch of Nigerians who had opted for voluntary evacuation. Mr. Ebiemfa urged Nigerians who remained in South Africa to stay calm, be security conscious, avoid protest routes, and maintain regular contact with the Nigerian High Commission for updates, noting that the federal government was working closely with South African authorities to ensure the safety of Nigerians while evacuation efforts continued. So far, 328 citizens have been evacuated in 2 batches, while more flights have been approved to bring home registered citizens amid concerns over possible xenophobic attacks. Meanwhile, the president of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, has called on the country's citizens planning to participate in the anti-immigration protest scheduled for tomorrow, June 30, to conduct themselves peacefully and within the confines of the law. In a national address today, Mr. Ramaphosa acknowledged public concerns over undocumented immigration, border security pressure on public services, and criminal activities linked to illegal migration, stressing that while the country's constitution guaranteed the right to protest, it did not permit violence, intimidation, vandalism, or threats against others. He said government was already implementing reforms to strengthen border management, improve visa and asylum processes, and tackle corruption within the immigration system. The South African president warned against vigilantism noting that immigration enforcement remained the responsibility of law enforcement agencies, reminding the citizens that many foreign nationals living in South Africa were in the country legally and contributed positively to its economy and society. The constitutional alteration bill seeking the establishment of state police will be transmitted to the 36 state houses of assembly this week for consideration. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramoju, who disclosed this, said the bill will require approval by at least 24 state assemblies before it could be forwarded to President Bola Tinubu for assent. The proposed law will allow states to establish their own police services, while the Nigeria Police Force will retain responsibility for national security matters. The Senate says the reform, which is aimed at tackling insecurity, includes safeguards to prevent it from being abused. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Olatunji Disu, has launched a nationwide advocacy and sensitization campaign against cultism and other social vices as part of efforts to strengthen community policing and curb criminal activities across the country. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Aniete Iniedu, said the police campaign against cultism and other vices would be implemented in all state police commands. The statement noted that the initiative was aimed at preventing cultism, drug abuse, violent crimes, and other antisocial behaviors through grassroots sensitization, early intervention, and sustained stakeholder engagement. It said the campaign would promote collaboration among schools, religious bodies, traditional institutions, community leaders, and other stakeholders to encourage positive values among young people. The force expressed confidence that the program will deepen public awareness, boost community participation, and support efforts to reduce crime through people-centered policing strategies. The Nigerian Army has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the nation's sovereignty and combating terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other security threats as it marked its 163rd anniversary. Speaking at the Nigerian Army Day celebration in Abuja, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Y.D. Shuaibu, represented by Major General Maxwell Dangana, said troops had recorded successes against criminal elements across various operational theaters. He noted that the Army remained focused on building a professional, combat-ready, and resilient force while prioritizing personnel welfare under the Soldier First initiative. Lieutenant General Shuaibu also paid tribute to fallen soldiers and expressed appreciation to President Bola Tinubu for supporting the armed forces, assuring Nigerians that newly recruited personnel would be adequately trained and equipped to strengthen national security. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has declared an industrial dispute with the federal government and issued a fresh 4-week ultimatum for the implementation of its outstanding demands, warning that it might embark on a nationwide strike if the issues remained unresolved. The association listed key concerns to include the non-release of the 2026 Medical Residency Training Fund, unpaid salary and allowance arrears, and delays in implementing the reviewed Consolidated Medical Salary Structure, CONMES. NARD President Dr. Mohammed Suleiman said the association could no longer guarantee industrial harmony beyond the 4-week deadline and urged the federal government to address the issues to avert the consequences of an industrial action. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, has expressed concern over reports that some tertiary institutions were delaying or refusing to refund tuition fees to students who had paid before the disbursement of their student loans. In a statement signed by the fund's Director of Strategic Communications, Mr. Oseyemi Oluwatuyi, Nel Fund said the student loan scheme introduced by President Bola Tinubu was designed to remove financial barriers to higher education and not create additional burdens for students. The fund also raised concern over what it described as arbitrary increases in tuition fees and other institutional charges by some schools, noting that such practices undermined the objectives of the scheme. The statement stressed that institutional charges should remain fair, transparent, and consistent with the goals of the program, adding that the fund was engaging affected institutions and relevant authorities to ensure that eligible students who paid their tuition before the loan disbursement received due refunds. Nel Fund reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the interest of students and preserving the integrity of the student loan scheme. Practical learning has once again been brought to the fore as a vital tool in preparing children for future careers. This came as pupils of the Lekons Educational Center, Asaba, embarked on an educational excursion to Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS, Asaba. Henry Unogwa reports.
The pupils toured key operational units of the station, including the edit suite, television studio, radio studio, master control room, and the transmitter session, where they observed the use of cameras, monitors, lighting systems, and the other broadcast equipment. One of the teachers, Mr. Callistus Ebwemelen, explained that the excursion was carefully organized to equip the students with basic knowledge of broadcasting and to stimulate their interest in media-related careers. He noted that exposing children to practical learning experiences helped to broaden their career horizons, nurture their talents, and help in raising well-grounded individuals prepared for future challenges.
The purpose of coming here today is to know the different departments here in DBS and to know how they operate based on the news we hear outside which they produce. And they have seen some of these things, how it works and how we receive them.
Expressing excitement over the experience, some of the pupils said the excursion had given them a better understanding of how news and other programs were produced and transmitted. They thanked their school and the DBS Asaba for the opportunity, saying the insight they had gained would inspire them to pursue careers in the media industry.
Came to Delta Broadcasting Station, Asaba. I visited the TV studio, radio studio, MCR, and more.
Say that visiting this DBS is really good and we really know how to enhance our knowledge in getting information.
Henry Onogwa reporting.
Christians have been challenged to strive to be different to attain distinction. Pastor Ayolu Agbemi of the Joy Alive Christian Assembly Asaba gave the charge when he officiated at the DBS Asaba weekly prayer meeting. The report.
Speaking on the topic, you can be different, drawn from 1 Kings chapter 22 verses 1 to 15, Pastor Oluwabemi said King Jehoshaphat dared to be different by always inquiring of God concerning every step he took. He also described Prophet Micah in the same passage as a prophet of difference, who stood for truth despite pressure from the majority. The cleric cautioned believers against following the crowd to be relevant, saying one did not need to join the multitude to be great, as believers must live to please God and not to be men pleasers. He urged Christians to remain faithful even in difficult times, avoid compromise, choose truth over falsehood, and cultivate a lifestyle of thanksgiving to God.
You need to join them before you become popular. You can be different. You don't need to join the crowd before you have been approved. You don't need to follow multitude. before you become great.
The prayer meeting, which featured praise and worship sessions, ended with a call on the staff to stand out for God in character and conviction, irrespective of prevailing trends in the society.
You're watching the Delta Television main news. Still to come, United States moves to impose fresh immigration restrictions on Somalia and other African countries over security concerns. Details in a moment.
We have a governor who is managing the resources of the state very, very prudently. When we said that governance will not cease because we are in what you may call pre-election year, you could see that the governor is walking the talk. He's looking ahead by delivering projects that touches the life of the people. We are doing this supervision and tour of this project because the governor has made it clear that if you fall short of the provisions in the Bill of Engineering Measurement and Evaluation, we will blacklist you. And we are seeing much more quality work coming in. We're also seeing greater speed.
Welcome back to the Delta Television main news. Straight on to the foreign scene. A United States lawmaker, Nancy Mace, has proposed a bill seeking to ban immigration from Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan over security concerns. Ms. Mace described the three African countries as unstable and said the proposed legislation is intended to protect American communities from what she called security threats linked to the nations. According to the statement on her official website, the Congresswoman said the United States should prioritize the safety of its citizens and not place the interest of foreign nationals above national security. She also warned against repeating what she described as the immigration mistakes made by some European countries, insisting the three nations remain among the world's most dangerous and unstable. Russia says it has enough resources to withstand the latest sanctions imposed by the European Union. President Vladimir Putin made a declaration while addressing delegates at the United Russia Party Congress in Moscow. President Putin accused Ukraine of carrying out attacks on civilians and sabotage with Russia or within Russia, while alleging that Western nations continue to ignore actions against his country and impose what he described as unlawful sanctions. The Russian leader insisted that Moscow had the resources, political will, and capacity to resist external pressure, adding that attempts to weaken or destabilize Russia had failed. The European Union last week extended its sanctions against Russia for another year, bringing the total number of sanctions packages adopted since the start of the Ukraine war in 2022 to 20. From the business and economy sector, tomato farmers have assured Nigerians that the current high prices of tomatoes will begin to decline from August as wet season harvesting commences across major producing states. The farmers under the Tomato Growers and Processors Association said the increase in prices was seasonal and resulted from reduced supply following the end of the dry season harvest. They explained that the adoption of flood-resistant tomato varieties would boost production during the rainy season and improve market supply, adding that without the improved varieties, consumers might have had to wait until October or November before prices dropped significantly. The tomato farmers attributed the recurring scarcity of tomatoes to climate change, including extreme heat and unpredictable rainfall patterns, calling on governments and private investors to provide more cold storage facilities and support farmers with improved seeds, fertilizers, and agrochemicals to reduce post-harvest losses, enhance production, and ensure stable prices throughout the market. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has warned petroleum marketers against unfair fuel pricing, saying Nigerians are yet to fully benefit from the recent decline in global crude oil prices. In a statement by the Commission's Director of Corporate Affairs, Mr. Onaje Ijago, the FCCPC said its ongoing surveillance of the downstream petroleum sector showed that reductions in gantry and retail fuel prices had not matched the significant drop in international crude oil prices. The Commission noted that while petrol prices rose rapidly during the surge in crude oil prices between April and May, retail prices remained high despite the recent market easing. Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the FCCPC, Mr. Tunji Bello, said operators in the downstream sector often increase pump prices quickly when crude oil prices rise, but are slow to passing on the benefits when the prices fall. He stressed that although the Commission does not regulate fuel prices in the deregulated market, it will continue to promote fair competition and protect consumers from exploitative business practices. Governor Sharif Oborewori has congratulated the Dane of Agbo Kingdom, Kagbere Kuzi I, on his 49th birthday, describing him as a visionary monarch whose reign has promoted peace, unity, and development in the kingdom. In a statement through his Chief Press Secretary, Festus Ahon, Governor Oborewori commended the royal father for his exemplary leadership and contributions to the growth of Agbo Kingdom, the state, and the nation. He noted that the monarch's commitment to the welfare of his people and preservation of the kingdom's cultural heritage had earned him widespread admiration and respect, adding that his leadership had continued to inspire confidence and foster progress within his kingdom and beyond. The governor prayed for God's continued blessings, good health, wisdom, and strength for the monarch in his continued service to humanity. In sports, the kick-out stage of the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup is gathering momentum, with Canada becoming the first nation to secure a place in the round of 16. The Canadians booked the sport with a hard-fought 1-0 victory over South Africa in the opening round of 32 fixture in the early hours of today, ending Bafana Bafana's impressive World Cup campaign and becoming the first team through to the last 16. Attention now shifts to another exciting day of knockout football, with five-time world champions Brazil taking on Japan in one of the standard fixtures of the round of 32 at 8 p.m. today, Nigerian time, while at 9:30 p.m., four-time champions Germany will face Paraguay in another winner-takes-all encounter. At 2 a.m. tomorrow, the Netherlands will battle Morocco for a place in the next round. With the tournament now in its kick-out phase, there is no room for error, as every match determines who advances and who heads home. That's our news. Next is the thought for the day. The best way to predict the future is to invest in it. To end Delta Television main news, here is a recap of the major stories we brought you. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has called on people of the Isoko Nation to reciprocate his administration's development efforts in the area by voting en masse for all candidates of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the 2027 general elections. Governor Oborewori made the appeal while inspecting ongoing and completed projects at the College of Health Technology, Obrode, and the Ozoro Modern Market in Isoko North local government area. The federal government has continued to evacuate Nigerians from South Africa ahead of planned anti-immigrant protests expected to begin tomorrow, June 30. The constitutional alteration bill seeking the establishment of state police will be transmitted to the 36 state houses of assembly this week for consideration. And from the foreign scene, we reported that a United States lawmaker, Nancy Mace, has proposed a bill seeking to ban immigration from Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan over security concerns. That ends Delta Television main news. On behalf of the news editor and the production team, this is Onome Iyarowe. Thank you for watching. You have a beautiful night.